Survey, and currently I'm doing my second year PhD studies in this department. So welcome all of you to my research seminar on Sri Lankan construction industry, and the later part of the presentation will be consisted of supply chain resilience. Moving on to the outline of my presentation, I'm going to discuss with you all today about Sri Lanka, recalling the history of Sri Lankan constructions, economic profile of Sri Lanka, recent and ongoing constructions in Sri Lanka, future directions of the Sri Lankan construction industry, along with the investment opportunities, and finally, about my research in supply chain resilience. As you all know, Sri Lanka is surrounded by Indian Ocean and it's located next to the India. And you can see the location of Sri Lanka from this slide. Actually, the area of Sri Lanka is 65,525 kilometers, and the density of Sri Lanka is around 20.9 million. In ancient era, Sinhalese lived before 6 BC, and during 11th century, Cholas ruled Sri Lanka, and after that, in the 16th century, Portuguese ruled Sri Lanka. Right after that, in the 17th century, Dutch people ruled Sri Lanka, and exactly in 1805, British people started ruling our country. And then in 1948, we got independence, and still we are an independent country. This is the ethnic population of Sri Lanka. Most of the people belong to the Sinhalese category, and Sri Lankan Tamils, Sri Lankan Moors, and other people are also living in my country. Talking about the religious diversity, most people belong to the Buddhist. Most of the people are Buddhist, and apart from Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, and some other Malay Burgh people are also living. Colombo. Colombo is the commercial capital of Sri Lanka. Mostly all the commercial buildings are located in the city of Colombo, and we call it as the commercial capital of Sri Lanka. But actually the political capital is not Colombo, it's the Sri Ravadhanapura Koti, and it's located very close to the Colombo as well, and this is the political capital where the parliament is located. Moving on to the second part of my presentation, recalling the history of constructions. When I'm talking about the history of construction, my memory goes towards citadels of Sri Lanka, because the first very reliable literary information regarding the royal palace found in 3rd century of BC, and is a significant feature of architectural and engineering construction in Sri Lanka. The special feature of urban development, urban design, was the central position which is given to the royal palace. The royal palace was surrounded by some other ponds, lakes, and as well there are some other hospital buildings, store buildings, and other some country parks as well. Basically, there were 2 lakes located around the pond, kingdom. We call them as Athodia Agala and Pitadia Agala. We call them in English outer lake and the inner lake. Actually, these 2 are located basically because of the security purposes. And the citadels recalls the concept of sustainability. Actually, sustainability is not in our concept to Sri Lankans. They used to build their kingdoms and the flat land without disturbing the nature as well. They use stones, timber, and some other nature loving just like bricks. They have used these kind of natural construction materials as well. And most of the kingdoms were built on the flat land. Also, without disturbing the rocks, they have built some of their kingdoms, such as Dambulla, Sigiriya, they have built on the huge rocks. Sigiriya is a good example for a rock, for a kingdom which is built upon a rock. And the name Sigiriya refers to a site of historical and archaeological significance that is dominated by a massive column of rock. The height of the rock is nearly 200 meters. Now, Sigiriya today is a UNESCO listed World Heritage Site, and it's one of the best preserved examples in ancient urban planning. Actually, in Sigiriya we can see symmetric and asymmetric urban planning. Regarding the symmetric urban planning, we can see the ponds and waterways located and the parks located in the the lower ground level, and the rock construction along with the Kingdom Palace is a good example for natural asymmetric design of the architecture. Also, Sri Lankan people, including the king, is mostly had a close relationship with the Buddhist temple and Buddhist religion, and they thought that the position of the tooth relic is symbolizes his power and the majesty and the status as well. Therefore, they built the shrine of the tooth relic near to their palace, and the Kandy, in this picture you can see the shrine of the tooth relic located in Kandy. As well, you can see the architectural significance of this construction, the roof, and they have used mostly the lightning conductors even more than 2000 years ago, and this symbolizes the significance of architectural features used in the Sri Lankan historical era. Stupa. It's another significant construction feature belongs to the construction industry in Sri Lanka. The Dagabas or stupas, they are significant architectural and engineering developments constructed in Sri Lanka, and they were the large brick structures which were constructed at the pre-modern world. At this time, Chetavanaramaya, one of the biggest stupas built in Sri Lanka, and the height was around 122 meters, and it was also the third tallest building at that time in the ancient world. When I'm talking about the heritage of Sri Lankan construction industry, it's very, very essential to discuss about skyscrapers and the cave temples. In this picture, you can see Mihintale Cave Temple. The significance of this construction is that they have ledged a cave, a craved cave beyond the top of this mountain, and this is to overcome the insulation of water coming into the cave itself. And this is the 9-storied building called as the Lower Mahapaya, and this is constructed upon the stone columns. The frame structures developed using timber, and this 9-storied building, actually they have used stone slabs, and even though they have used stone slab, it's hardly visible the joints or the connection of the two slabs, and that is how they have built the buildings in that ancient era. Talking about the ancient irrigation in Sri Lanka, the technology goes beyond the 1st century BC, and it goes back to the kingship of King Vasudha. The first great reservoir of the world ever constructed, according to the Henry Parker, was Pandavavel. It was built by King Dappula, and today Sri Lanka has 59 giant tanks spread out in the 13 districts. Mostly they have used these reservoirs, tanks for paddy cultivation. Their aim was not to destroy or their aim was to utilize each drop of water coming from the rain for their agricultural purposes. Among these, the largest ancient tanks are Parakrama Samudra, and currently the largest modern tank is Senanayaka Samudra. Apart from the reservoirs, they have built long canals, and the longest canal in Sri Lanka is the Jayaganga, runs for 87 kilometers. The specialty of that is the gradient of this Jayaganga at the beginning of first 27 kilometers is lesser than 10 centimeters per kilometer. And the other thing is the Bissau tour. The modern engineers, they call it as the valve pit, which is used to balance the water level and balance the overflow of the water in a tank. So before 2000, actually 2,200 years ago, more than 2,200 years ago, Sri Lankan construction industry used this valve pit construction. Even today we can see these constructions. Moving into the economic profile of Sri Lanka, gross domestic production of Sri Lanka per capita is around $4,073, and we have a 8.1 million labor force. Unemployment rate is around 4.2%, and we have population below poverty line is 4.1%. Actually, before 2009, it was around 12%, and now it's been reduced up to 4.1% because after war construction and after-war developments were held in Sri Lanka. The inflation rate was around 3.7% Sri Lanka. In this graph, you can see the gross domestic production of Sri Lanka. During 1960 to 1917, it was below 20 billion US dollars, and from 1980 to 2000 also it was below 20 billion. After 2010, it has been increased. You can see a drastic increment of the GDP, and in 2018, it's now you can see it's around 87.17 billion US dollars in Sri Lanka. Talking about the main contributors to the gross development production of Sri Lanka, the second highest contributor is the industrial category, and within the industrial category, fourth highest contributor is the construction industry to the gross domestic production in Sri Lanka. This figure clearly shows the contribution of each industry to the gross domestic production from 2013 to 2017, and here you can see industrial sector is contributing in this second highest contribution can be received from the industry sector, and there also you can see construction sector is contributing to the GDP in a higher extent. And also you can see there is a significant increment from 2013 to 2017 from the contribution to the gross domestic production from the construction industry. Talking about the inflation rate of Sri Lanka, although in the mid of July there was a sudden increment of the inflation rate, but right after that, according to the current situation, now it's around 3.7, which is a very positive symbol for starting businesses in my country.